You are listening to Weight Loss Made Real, and this is episode 227. If you've had a lot of aha moments about your eating and your weight and dieting and what works and what doesn't, and you suddenly feel like you see the truth, but those aha moments don't lead to weight loss, then this episode is for you. I'm your host, Master Weight Loss Coach and author, Cookie Rosenblum. Today and every Tuesday, I will be your coach and your guide to help you end your emotional eating and lose that extra weight. If you just found me, welcome, my friend. And if you're a regular listener, welcome back. This is where we talk about your habit of emotional eating, which is the main focus in all the work I do. Here is where coaching meets psychology and psychology meets brain science. This is weight loss for the thinking woman, and I am very glad that you're here. I have 2 announcements for you, so stay tuned to the end of our coaching session today, and I will tell you what I have in store for you. So today, our business is this: why your weight loss aha moments do not lead to weight loss. You would think that once you see something and your eyes are open and you've awoken to a new perspective, you would think that weight loss would then be easy and just a nice downhill trip. But it's usually not, and I'm going to explain why. So here's what we're going to talk about in this coaching session today. What do I mean when I say an aha moment? And why do those aha moments feel so good? Why do we all wait for them and worship them and wish for them? Because we all have a fantasy of that lightning strike for change. That's what we're going to talk about. But since they don't work for most people, we're going to talk about what's missing, what we have to add to the aha moment, and what usually happens after that initial excitement quiets down, what the parts of change really are. You're going to learn today how to translate that aha moment of awareness and having your eyes open into action that you take over and over again, how to believe new things, what it really takes to change. All right, so let's dive into what I mean when I say you might have a weight loss related aha moment. That moment feels like a bolt of lightning, not literally, just struck you, where you suddenly have your eyes open and you have kind of a sudden realization. It's like a moment of insight, lots of clarity. You suddenly could see what you've been doing wrong. You suddenly could see what you should be doing instead. It's like somebody turned the light on and illuminated a path for you. Here's what you have to do to lose weight. Here's how you have to think to solve your weight issue and your eating issue. And you suddenly see it. And lots of people refer to that as the aha moment, like, aha, I see it now. Have you ever had a moment like that? And if you look back, and you have, did it lead you to change? Was it just the beginning? Or was it a quick wake up and then it faded away? You know what I'm going to guess at. Usually the aha moment fades away. But we all want them. And we want them because aha moments feel good. They give us clarity, but they also give us confidence. We suddenly see the solution and we feel like, okay, I've got this. So you get excited and you get confident because you're seeing the possibility of what needs to be done differently. You see that end in sight. And when you see the end in sight, what seemed impossible before suddenly seems possible. So when we get that confidence and that excitement, that is why we worship aha moments. We think change is as simple as suddenly seeing something differently. We share the fantasy of instant relief. So we're always on the lookout for the aha moment where we say to ourselves, okay, I get it. I'm going to be different from this moment on. My struggle is gone. But this is fantasy. This is fantasy about that lightning strike, that lightning bolt that's going to change you forever. Because the fantasy is, well, work is not really required. We just have to see what needs to happen. We just have to know. And we see this new perspective and we think, okay, I'm good. No more problem. Finally, I'm going to do this. So the excitement that that moment generates is good. The confidence that it generates is good. But what's missing? What's missing is not good. And what's missing is then translating that lightning bolt of recognition of what has to happen, translating it into action, and then practicing it. When you want to change, the reality of what you need to do is the first awareness. You suddenly become aware of what you've been doing, what works, what doesn't work, and what needs to change, right? So it's an awareness. You have to start with the awareness. What comes after the awareness is making a plan of action and belief, new thinking, new beliefs, and all melded together, the thought, the belief, the action, and then practice, the thing that we don't want to think about. We want it to be instant, just like that lightning bolt. So after that initial aha moment of excitement, I am sad to say, but it's usually a rude awakening. And you're probably nodding your head right now like, I get it, but why am I not doing the new thing? And then you're surprised when you resort to the same old behavior, the same old habits. You're probably surprised that your knowledge, that lightning bolt, and your insight feel so good, but they're not enough. I know they're not enough, and I know multiple times, I'm guessing, you have realized that your insight, your lightning bolt, didn't lead you to change. What's common at this point is that you start blaming yourself and you say things like, well, I knew something was wrong with me. I guess I'm never going to get this. And you might be mildly depressed, certainly let down, and surprised. Because why didn't change happen when I see the problem? And maybe even you see the solution. We don't like to think about the work that we need to do then. We want instant success. And that's just the way our culture is right now. So don't beat yourself up about that. But that is what has to change after that initial moment of excitement. Nothing is wrong with you. That first part of change is the mental awareness, stepping up, rising above, and looking down at the big picture of what you've been doing. So that means that you need to step outside of your old beliefs and evaluate what you've been doing, what you've been thinking, what you've been feeling, what you've been doing, and now comparing it to what is possible. What else is possible for you? It's like you've been in the dark and all of a sudden you're turning a light on and you could see that path right ahead of you. It's exciting. Most of you think that the aha moment is enough. You see that truth, no need to do any more. You'll never go back to being the old you. I used to think that all the time. I would be so excited when I understood a principle of changing my eating and my weight and losing the struggle that I didn't really think beyond that. I just assumed, okay, tomorrow I'm on a different track. I'm never going to do the old things that I used to do. I'm not going to go back to the old me. But if you're anything like me, very quickly you succumb to those old pathways in your brain. Because they're strong. You've done them for years. So you feel helpless in the moment the next day after the aha moment, and you end up repeating the same patterns, the same thoughts, the same feelings, and of course, the same actions. You might feel something uncomfortable if you're an emotional eater, and your first thought is still going to go back to, I've got to eat something. Maybe you're triggered by a feeling or a thought or a person or a situation, or maybe it's a time of day. Maybe it's a mood. All those things lead to these habitual patterns, and they lead you to eat without hunger. They led you to eat without hunger in the past, but even after the aha moment, they still will lead you to eat now. Now, at this point, I know that you're probably upset because you thought you had the answer. You had the aha moment, and now what? Now you might begin to lose hope that you could ever change and that the problem is you. But here's what I need you to know. This is not true. The truth is that the aha moment isn't the answer, but it is the beginning. The aha moment is giving you a sneak peek into what's possible for you. So I don't want you to get rid of it or look at it with disdain. Be excited that you suddenly have that wake-up moment, but the trick after the aha moment is going back to the old behaviors and changing them, not giving up. So what needs to happen after that new awareness? First, there's an awareness, and then you make a plan, a detailed plan of how you want to act in a new way. You make a commitment to yourself because you know, because I'm telling you, that it's not going to be instant change. I know that's what you want, but that's not the world that we live in. It's all okay. The aha is important because it woke you up. And anything that happens after that does not mean failure, even if the very next day you go back to do what you've always done. It's just that it's time to really learn and actually embrace the fact that there is no shortcut now. There's a gap. There's a gap between where you are now and the dream of how you want to be. So in between the awareness and that dream is the old you, that in-between stage, that old you and that part of your brain that needs to be retrained. You need to catch yourself after the awakening, and you catch yourself going into the old pattern and remind your brain that you don't want to do that anymore. So the goal is to translate the awareness that you had into action. And the way you're going to do that is by being honest and looking at what you're currently doing and what you want to be doing. And in between that big gap, I want you to pick the tiniest little step you can. Break it down so small that you can allow yourself to do it imperfectly and not use it as an excuse to stop. How can you allow yourself to take tiny steps and fall down and keep getting up? That is the key. We know there's going to be a lot of failing when you do new things. So I'm asking you, can you commit to being okay with failing without stopping? And with failing and without making it mean anything terrible about you. In fact, failing means you're taking your aha moment, you're putting it into action, you're doing something new. Failing is evidence that you don't know what you're doing yet, but it's evidence that you're trying. And that's what counts. So you need to take the new actions over and over again. New things take time. First, belief and feeling like, hey, this is actually possible for me. And then the action, eating in a new way, caring for yourself in a new way, practicing new beliefs. And that foundation of a new belief is really critical to taking the aha moment to the next level. You need to solidify the new belief of, here's my path, and I'm going to do it. You need to practice that on purpose. When you're trying to believe something new, it's always challenging because the old belief, even if it doesn't take you where you want to go, it's just easier. It's more comfortable. It's what you already know. But a belief is just a thought that you've practiced over and over again. So if you want to believe something different, if you want to believe that you can do the new thing, guess what? You practice it on purpose. I'm doing this. I looked ahead. I had my aha moment. I see what's required of me. And no matter how many times I fall down, I'm going to get back up and keep practicing it. All the things you think are optional, whether you believe you can or whether you believe you can't. Right now, You may very well believe that you can't do something different, but that's not a truth. It's just something that feels real to you because you've practiced it over and over again. So what does change mean? Change equals awareness plus action plus practice plus patience over time to get results. One of the things I want you to consider is that you need to stop telling yourself that things need to happen immediately or even quickly. Stop telling yourself you're different and you can't change. Stop telling yourself that something is wrong. Well, if you can't practice those old, unhelpful beliefs, what can you tell yourself instead? Here are some things that you could think that you can borrow from me after you've had that lightning bolt where you see what you need to do and what you've been doing wrong. You can start practicing the thought, I can do new things. I can fall down and get up. That's the way to change. You can practice believing that if you could see the truth, that's the first step toward creating a new reality for myself. So be excited when you have one of those moments, but that's just the beginning. You get the lightning bolt of vision, you see the path, you practice. So here's what I want you to think about this week. What was your last moment where you saw what you needed to do and you got so excited? And what happened after you had that aha? And after you've learned what we just talked about in this session, what could you do differently now? Pull up your last aha moment. It's not lost. You just shoved it away because you thought it should be the immediate change. Pull it back up, put it on the table, shine the light on it, and let's do it differently. All right, my friend, I hope that I've helped you understand why, even though you have those major lightning bolt moments, that change does not follow quickly after that. You know what you're going to work on this coming week. You know what you just learned that might be holding you back. Now, before you go, I want to remind you that we're currently offering, if you're listening to this in real time, in just a few days, we will have a 5-day challenge to help you stop overeating, especially at the end of the day. If you get home from your day and hit the couch with a bag of chips or a couple of pizzas or a pack of cookies, that behavior can be changed. And if you could change that behavior, you'd be amazed at how much easier weight loss comes. The challenge will be very soon, and I would love to work with you on this. If you could show yourself in 5 days that you can get real clarity on your problem, like a light bulb moment, and that you actually start working through it and making some changes, imagine what would be different for you. And, of course, I'm going to show you how to keep going when the challenge is over. The link to the challenge is in the show notes, or you can go to weightlossmadereal.com/challenge. I hope to see you back here next week where we will continue to work on that emotional eating and that habitual overeating step by step until they become something you used to do. We know that's your goal. So for now, this is your Coach Cookie reminding you that as you search for answers, keep it real, just like you. And I'll see you back here next week.